In my very last video about Shadow the Hedgehog possibly being in Smash, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit and started talking about all the assist trophies that might possibly be in the game. I don't know how my mind got to that point, but it's something that I haven't heard anyone else talk about, and it's a super interesting thing to bring up. That we definitely got to see a new assist trophy in the Smash Direct based off Bayonetta, and that being Rodan from Bayonetta. And that's really interesting because if you check the Smash Bros. Updates on the website, if in the music section, we also know there's going to be new songs for Ryu's stage that aren't based off Ryu and Ken and based off other Street Fighter 2 characters, which means there's potential for more songs from the DLC characters and assist trophies from the DLC characters that we never got in Smash 4, even though normally there's at least one assist trophy per third-party character, which is a really nice touch, and this is a trend that started in Brawl that is definitely continuing here, but we haven't seen everything. We haven't seen everything yet. While there's definitely a good amount of returning assist trophies, there seems to be a lot of new ones that were shown off during the E3 demo, and of course they weren't trying to show off every item and every assist trophy in the game. In fact, we already know they said this is not every stage, this is not every item, this is not every trophy, and it's not even every character. I don't know if they actually said it's not every character, but they did say it's not every stage, it's not every assist trophy, and it's not every item. They want to show more of that stuff later as things go on, and they might even want to wait for some things before the game comes out. So we do know that Knuckles is going to be an assist trophy, and we know that Rodan is going to be an assist trophy, but we don't know about Shadow, where is he? We don't know about Elecman, where is he? And we don't even know if Gray Fox is returning. So I wanted to talk about potential assist trophies. Who would make the most sense? And I'm not going to just name a character's rival or just a popular character from that game, because this is Sakurai we're talking about, this is Smash Bros. And if Elecman is going to be the assist trophy for Mega Man, what's the significance of Elecman? Elecman is just a boss from Mega Man 1. He is one of 6 bosses from Mega Man 1, not even one of the last bosses in the game. He's just a normal boss from Mega Man. Do you know how many bosses from Mega Man there are? So it's like, to say that a assist trophy from a game has to be this character because it has this significance and relevance to that character. Really, it could be pretty much any character from that game series, from what I can understand, as long as if it's like a somewhat understandably popular character. It has to have something to it. It can't just be but I would say even Sniper Joe would have a chance at being Mega Man's assist trophy. But what I want to do is I want to go through every third party character in order that they were released, and at the end I want to talk about a few ideas for third party characters we might see, trying to be as realistic as possible, and I'll probably even say some for third-party characters that I don't think we'll even see at all. I'll mention some third-party characters that really would not make sense to be in the game at all, but if they are in the game, we'll have those assist trophies. So we're gonna start off with Snake. Snake was the first third-party character in Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear Solid. Snake's from Metal Gear Solid. He was the first third-party character in Super Smash Bros. History. He was planned to be in Melee, but when they wanted to add him in, it was so late into Melee's development cycle. They're like, no, let's just not worry about it anymore. It'd be too crazy of a crossover anyway. But he did get his crossover in time for Smash Brawl, and Sonic was actually added in later after Snake. In fact, Smash Bros. Brawl had to be delayed just to add Sonic in, and I'm glad it was delayed. Nowadays we have DLC, so I definitely don't want Smash Ultimate to be delayed, but nowadays we have DLC, so if they do have to make a late edition, that's different. But back then, I'm glad we waited for Sonic because that had a lot of significance. So what we have first is Snake, and the assist trophy from Brawl was Gray Fox. Now, from what I understand, the voice actor for Gray Fox has not been called in to do anything involving Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Gray Fox won't come back, because they could just use the same voice clips. I don't think they would because they usually update these voice clips every so often. I mean, Star Fox and Falco seem to have a new voice in every damn game. So I really don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to, if they are going to bring Gray Fox in, they're going to record new lines. But it is just an assist trophy, so I don't know, maybe not. But I think the most likely answer will be Gray Fox. With the second most likely answer would be like Revolver Ocelot or possibly Raiden. And it would be Raiden from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. And so, to me, it's like, there's no point in putting in Raiden because Gray Fox is already a cyborg ninja, and the whole point of making Raiden a cyborg ninja was to be sort of like a tribute to Gray Fox, because there seems to always be a cyborg ninja in all these games, because Gray Fox was the first one, Olga was the second one, and then there wasn't one in 3, but 3 was based in the 60s and in a jungle, so that would be kind of weird if there was a cyborg ninja. But Raiden was the one in 4. So it's like there's always a cyborg ninja. It's like a trend in Metal Gear Solid. And making Raiden 1 was really out of left field, but it was really cool in Metal Gear Solid 4 when we finally got to see him. Either way, while I really do like Raiden, and I think the fans like him now too, because I think Metal Gear Solid 2 is getting a lot more fan appreciation as the years go on. It's one of those games that is hated at first, but then loved later on. When it comes to the third-party assist trophy, I'm still leaning towards Gray Fox, because he just seems to make the most sense. Ocelot would also be really cool because his bullets could ricochet off of things, so I'm totally down with that. But I just feel like Gray Fox is so perfect to be an assist trophy already, so I think he should come back. If it was my call, I would do it, especially because he missed out in Smash 4. And Gray Fox is such an iconic part in Metal Gear Solid 1. He's seriously important to the story, and he makes a lot of appearances. So he should be... I totally think Gray Fox. Let's move on to Sonic the Hedgehog. We already know it's Knuckles. The question really is, why is it Knuckles, and where is Shadow? And so my last video, I talked about why, if they're going to make an Echo Fighter... If they're going to make a second character from a game, it wouldn't make any sense at all for them to do that, because a third-party game only needs its main character to represent that franchise. Anything more is just unnecessary fan service that doesn't really benefit Nintendo or Smash. Now, Sakurai might do it just because he's crazy and wants to do it and wants to make people happy, or maybe because he just really likes that game franchise. But for me, I think what makes the most sense is if they're going to do this, it should be an Echo Fighter, because it doesn't really make... That would be pure fan service if they did an Echo Fighter for the Sonic games, and it wouldn't... That would just make people happy, and it would be easy to do, and it wouldn't cut into resources, versus making a brand new original character, which is not necessary at all for them to represent Sonic to that level. You know, Sonic literally just needs Sonic. You know, even Sega makes Sonic games with Sonic being the only playable character. So it would just be ridiculous to make a brand new original character. So if they're going to do that, you have to think who would make sense, because both Nintendo and that third party has to agree on the terms. And so, like I said, it would really only make sense to put in that extra fan service if it's a Echo Fighter, and especially now that it seems like Sakurai might be wanting to throw in more Echo Fighters, so that way the game's roster looks larger than it actually is. But also, which I don't think is a bad thing at all, because this is all pure fan service. But I also think this is good because the other company, the third-party company, has to agree on the terms of the character, and most of them aren't going to want a full-on character from a game to just be a clone, especially if it's a character from a certain game, like Street Fighter, where Ken doesn't actually fight identically to Ryu. It would kind of send the wrong message about Ken from Ken's game, Street Fighter. I don't think that Nintendo wants Ken, and I don't think that if they actually did want Ken, that Capcom would not allow Ken to be an Echo Fighter. So really, I think Chun-Li has a higher chance of being in the game than Ken. So because of this, I think Sega might be more okay with Shadow being an echo of Sonic, because in Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes, Shadow plays identical to Sonic anyway. I know Shadow has plays differently in his own games, but that's, it doesn't matter because Shadow can do every move that Sonic can do. So to me, it's like it's a no-brainer for him to be an Echo. So that's one theory why Knuckles is in the game. The other theory is because Sonic Mania has made Knuckles a little bit more popular. Along with Sonic Forces, I know Knuckles is even more involved in the story. And there's also Sonic Boom. So, but the thing is, Shadow's relevancy to the Sonic franchise is not down. It hasn't gone down. Sega has managed to keep Shadow just as relevant as ever, and people will always love Shadow because he's in Sonic Adventure 2, which is a very popular game. It's a lot of people's first foot into the Sonic franchise if they were Nintendo fans growing up and had GameCubes when they were little kids. So a lot of people know Shadow and like Shadow, and people who start with Sonic Adventure 2 probably like Shadow more than Knuckles. And that has a lot of significance to Nintendo, but it also has a lot of significance to modern-day Sonic fans. Because Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was one of the, it was the second modern-era Sonic game. I know people wouldn't necessarily call the Dreamcast games modern Sonic, but they were 3D Sonic games. And they were kind of like, trying to make the 3D environment work before the boost formula was invented. So even though it's not necessarily modern Sonic, those were the first games where Sonic got his redesign, and Shadow was introduced to them. And so Shadow is a very important part in the modern Sonic era. And so to me, cutting Shadow out, it's the only other explanation for cutting Shadow out would be because Sakurai wants more assist trophies to be able to do battle against you, so that way you can do damage to them and knock them out, because that's a new mechanic with assist trophies. So I'm going to take that into consideration when coming up with assist trophies idea. So for example, Gray Fox would be one you could fight against. So would Revolver Ocelot, and so would Raiden, but I think Gray Fox would be one that would make a lot of sense to fight against. And so Knuckles you can already fight against. So I think that, that is a reason why, because I don't think he would put Shadow in and then make Shadow not do the Chaos Control. I think if he was going to put Shadow as an assist trophy, he would just do the Chaos Control. There is a chance there will be 2 assist trophies from Sonic. I don't think it's that ridiculous or unheard of. Even though this has never happened with a third-party company before, I think Sonic is the only game character that's third-party that could really break these rules, and it's partly because he's in every Smash since Brawl. Sonic has never been cut. He's always been a part of the games. So, and like his significance and relevancy to Nintendo as a franchise, or Nintendo as a company, to Mario as a franchise, especially with the Mario Sonic Olympic games, those games are kind of a cool callback to the time when Mario and Sonic were competing in real fucking life. Like, Nintendo and Sega were competing, and they were using Mario and Sonic to do it. So I think Sonic has way more significance to Nintendo than any other character. Not that that means Sonic deserves special treatment, but the stars aligned for putting Shadow in as the game. So in that sense, the stars kind of aligned for putting 2 assist trophies in. But I would say it would just be Knuckles and Shadow. I don't want to go too crazy with it. Though I will say, if they ever do a new adventure mode or a new Subspace Emissary style mode, there is a chance of bosses from these third-party games as well. And I would say that Robotnik and Metal Sonic would be good candidates for bosses to fight against in that mode. But Shadow makes way more sense to be an Echo Fighter. And Knuckles makes a ton of sense as an assist trophy. I've wanted Knuckles for a while now. I'm just happy he's an assist trophy. Like, that's really cool to me, because even though I wanted him as a character, I realize now that it's totally not viable to make Knuckles a character. So making Knuckles assist trophies is perfect. Super happy about that. No problem with that. Not sad to not see Shadow, but I would love to see Shadow come in the game in another fashion. And I would be sad if it was merely just as a trophy that you could look at in the gallery. Next up is Mega Man, who was announced at E3 the same day that Smash Bros. Was announced for 3DS and Wii U. And it was like a few days before Smash Bros. 4 came out, was announced. It was right before it was announced that I realized, like, if they're going to do a third-party game, and they already did Sonic and Metal Gear Solid, Like, they gotta do Mega Man. They gotta do Mega Man next. And I'm very happy to say that I called it, and I think a lot of people thought it was going to happen because it just made the most sense. Like, it really did. It really made more sense than any other character. And I know some people might not agree to that, but that's because they don't understand classic video games or the significance and importance of Mega Man. So, with Mega Man, in Smash 4, it was Elect Man. Now, Sonic's getting a new assist trophy, so we don't know. We haven't seen a single other returning assist trophy yet. So, it might not be Elect Man, but I don't see why they would change it. But I also don't see why they would change Shadow to Knuckles, unless they're putting Shadow as a playable character. Elect Man is not an important character. Like I said, I think Sniper Joe or Yellow Devil could even be an assist trophy. I think the dragon enemy from Mega Man 2 could be an assist trophy. You know, I think that Cut Man or Gus Man has an equal chance of becoming an assist trophy. I think a lot of enemies from Mega Man could become assist trophies. But what would be really cool is if it was Zero from Mega Man X. That would be really cool. Not saying that's going to happen, but that would be really cool. It would also be cool to see Proto Man or Bass, specifically Proto Man, because if he teleported in, it would do his little whistle song. I know Proto Man has been added to Mega Man's Final Smash. Proto Man and Bass were both trophies in Smash Bros. 4. They did get represented in Smash Bros. 4. Proto Man and Bass were literally both trophies. It was really badass. They looked fucking amazing. I would love to see them done in the Smash Bros. Art style. Hell, give me an Echo Fighter of Proto Man. I don't give a shit. But the thing with Proto Man is, actually, you could even make it just a costume, because Mega Man doesn't even talk or do taunts that would be out of place for Proto Man. You could just make Proto Man a costume, like how they made a costume for Olimar to give him Alf from Pikmin 3. So you could just do that, and I think that's perfectly acceptable. However, if they probably won't do that unless they're also doing Shadow as an Echo Fighter. And Proto Man probably won't be an Echo Fighter. He'll probably just be a costume, and it'll be like one color, but that's literally perfect and all you need. Anyway, I'm going way off tangent now. I'm going way off on a tangent. But if they did put in Proto Man as assist trophy, that doesn't actually counter the idea that Proto Man can't be in the Final Smash and assist trophy, because Riki from Xenoblade is in Shulk's Final Smash, and he's an assist trophy, and that's in Smash 4, and I'm pretty sure he's already confirmed to be back in Smash Ultimate. I'm pretty sure he's in the assist trophy little breakdown in the trailer. So, yeah, I don't think just because Proto Man's in the Final Smash, I think that all that means is he probably won't be an Echo Fighter. But I mean, thinking that in the first place was already kind of crazy. I'm pretty sure he'll be in the game. So I think he would be one of the better choices as an assist trophy. But the thing, that's kind of what I thought for Smash 4. I thought he would be a great choice. But that's because I thought that they were going off like characters rivals, like Gray Fox and Shadow. But really, it can be anything. So I think Elect Man was already a good enough assist trophy. And I don't want to go too crazy and say all these ideas. I think that honestly, if it's not Elect Man, it's probably Yellow Devil. Like, straight up. But I know he's still in that stage. He's just a hazard you can turn off. So I know he's still in the game stage, but so what, you know? Either way, it's probably still just Elect Man. And that would not bother me. I think Elect Man's already a cool boss to fight. He's or an assist trophy that's based off a boss. And you would be able to fight him back. So, it seems perfectly cool. Also, if I'm correct, I don't think Elect Man gives... Mega Man in the game doesn't have like any of Elect Man's powers. So, I think it might also affect why he's in an assist trophy. But, honestly, I don't know. Again, he's not like the most significant boss in Mega Man. But, I don't think a character or assist trophy needs to be significant at all. And... so, like, this is me agreeing with Sakurai. I'm saying I agree with that decision, but also I have to acknowledge that decision because he's the one making the game, and I want to actually give you guys a somewhat... I don't want to just say cool ideas. I want to give you guys accurate ideas for what the assist trophies might be. So I think Elect Man has a high chance of returning, but it would be really cool, and it wouldn't be out of character for Sakurai to change this assist trophy to a different boss and or a more important character like Proto Man. So it could happen. I don't think anyone will be sad over an assist trophy because a lot of us don't play with items anyway. But it is cool to see these inclusions. Plus, it means trophies for these characters. And we already know. I want to now talk about the next third-party game that was added to Smash, being Pac-Man. Sadly, there's not much to say about Pac-Man because the ghosts are returning. We already know this. And to be honest, if they change that, that would be retarded. But like I said, they're not changing that. So that's good because that's the way it should be. So there you go. Pac-Man ghosts are returning. And I think that's perfect. I think they were a great assist trophy already. They're one that you can't fight against, but who cares? It's perfect. But before I started talking about Pac-Man, I was talking on the subject of Mega Man. The reason why I wanted to bring that up is because it's next is Street Fighter, next is Ryu, and that's really exciting. I really just get so hyped thinking about the fact that there's going to be more content from Street Fighter in Super Smash Bros. Because Ryu is not going to be DLC. He's going to be in the game from day fucking one. That is so exciting, and I know that's not a big deal to some people, because he's basically the same character with one thing changed for when you're playing one-on-one, which is a good change, don't get me wrong. It's a really exciting change, and it's part of why I might play more Ryu, because they're making him play more like how he did in Street Fighter, and I think more fighting game fans are going to really enjoy playing as Ryu 1v1 with people, or at least, like, Ryu's how people get into playing Street Fighter, and Ryu's is going to be how some people who play Street Fighter get into Smash. So I think this is great. I cannot wait to play as Ryu in this game. But the thing is that he was the first. When he came out in Smash 4, I was a little upset because there's a lot of really cool trophies in Smash for Sonic and for Mega Man. You know, you can get trophies for Tails, Knuckles, Silver, Blaze, Amy. You can get trophies for Chow's. You can get trophies for Eggman. Like, it's really damn cool. And then you can get trophies for Roll, Dr. Light, Dr. Wily, Rush, Beat, Bass, and he has trouble with them. It's a really damn cool trophy. And, of course, Proto Man. So, I like collecting these trophies, but when Ryu came out, it was just Ken. It was Ryu, Ryu's alternate, Ryu's Final Smash, and Ken. And that was it. And that was really sad. But I know why they did it. They can't just update a shitload of content into the game. But that's what it did. They put in just Ken, and which is, better than nothing. So at least we got one thing. So is Ken a good insight to who the assist trophy will be? Well, Ken is important to Ryu for sure, but I don't consider Ryu, like, Ryu is the main character of Street Fighter. So if they're going to put in any character from Street Fighter, it basically had to be Ryu. They couldn't put in Guile or Ken or Chun-Li. It really had to be Ryu, because he's the main character. When you think Street Fighter, you think Ryu. But a lot of people think Ryu and Ken. So I think they put Ken with them, and I don't think it necessarily was to, like I said, be an insight of who Ryu as a character. I don't think it was to be an insight of who might possibly be showing up in a later game. In Smash 4, there was a trophy for Rodon, and Rodon is now the assist trophy for Bayonetta in Smash Ultimate. However, they also put an assist trophy for John, her friend. So it's like, and John was sort of like a clone of Bayonetta in some ways. They fight literally identically. So I don't think that Ken will be the assist trophy for Street Fighter necessarily. I think it'll make way more sense for a different character from Street Fighter. And as far as what character would be an assist trophy, oh my god. You've got Bison, you've got Guile, you've got Vega, you've got Balrog, you've got Sagat, you've got Akuma, and you've got Cammy, and you got my personal favorite that I think will be the most likely case, Chun-Li. All of those are valuable choices to be an assist trophy from Street Fighter. Oh shit! I forgot. Blanca and Zangief. Also have a good, viable chance of being assist trophies from Street Fighter. No matter who they pick, we'll all be happy. But I think the most obvious choice is Chun-Li, and that's what I'm going with. First of all, she would maneuver the stage mostly by doing her spinning bird kicks, and she could do her little aerial kicking move that knocks you in the air. But if you're right in front of her, she'll probably do her rapid fire kicks, making an assist trophy with a character like Chun-Li with her moveset is just too perfect. I think it's a no-brainer here, but sometimes Sakurai thinks of things. He doesn't always go for the most obvious choice. Sometimes he just kind of does something that makes sense to him. So, and we're stuck with those decisions. Like a Dark Pit, for example. So, let's consider that it might not be Chun-Li. It might just be his favorite character from Street Fighter. It might be a character that Capcom really wants to push from Street Fighter. But for me personally, I think everyone will probably agree on Chun-Li. I think the second one that would possibly be would either be Bison. I don't think it would be Akuma. If it was Akuma, then he'll probably just do a Raging Demon then leave. And it might be really easy to dodge. But if it hits, it does like an insane amount of damage. That would make sense to me, and that would be cool. But I think if they did Chun-Li, that would be one you could fight against. And so I think they would kind of want to go for that. And also because I don't know, man. The kind of assist trophies to do the insta-kills, they really piss me off, but I do know that, well, I don't know. I hope it's not Akuma. But it could be. It really could be. But Akuma would make a lot of sense to be just a trophy. Some people, and of course Dark Ryu, I don't think Dark Ryu needs to be in an Echo or a trophy or anything. I think he should be just a costume for Ryu. But either way, yeah, let's get Chun-Li. Let's do Chun-Li, guys. Chun-Li would be so cool. I know she's gonna get a trophy no matter what. It's probably gonna be done up in the Street Fighter V art style. But god damn it, please just put her in. Actually, oh yeah, well the Street Fighter 2 games. I don't know if Street Fighter 2 has like 3D renders for an art style, but either way, it might even be Street Fighter 4 because Ken's like the Street Fighter 4 art style in Smash Bros. So either way, we'll see. We'll see what we get with Chun-Li and anyone else from Street Fighter. I think Sagat also has a huge chance. I think he's probably my second pick under Chun-Li, and then probably Bison under them. And then I think it's probably like Vega, then Guile. The only reason I'm bringing up Vega is because Vega's theme is already confirmed to be in the Ryu stage, but I'm pretty sure like every character's theme is going to be in the Ryu stage. So either way, it sounds really fun. I'm really excited. I really hope it's Chun-Li though, and I think that's the most likely answer. I think it's just a no-brainer at this point. It's got to be Chun-Li, dudes. Got to be Chun-Li. Next, after Ryu, the next one added was, of course, the surprise Cloud from Square Enix. Now we have third-party representation from Konami, Sega, Capcom, Namco, and Square Enix. Those are like the big icons of the like early classic video game era, and they're also like the big icons of third-party Japanese games. So Square Enix is really the one that completes the huge, awesome amount of characters in third-party companies. So here's the thing. I think with Cloud and his assist trophy, they'll actually do something a little bit similar to Mega Man. If it's not Tifa and it's not Ares, I think Tifa and Ares are, if they're going to do party members from Final Fantasy VII, it'll probably be Tifa or Ares. They make too much sense. But if it's not Tifa and it's not Ares, maybe Sephiroth. But I don't think Sephiroth will be in the game outside of being a trophy. Not an assist trophy, just a regular trophy. Which is going to look badass, don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's going to be an assist trophy. Though if he was, he would probably just do like one slice and kill like Akuma. So, whereas I think if they put in Tifa, that would be one that would fight with her fists and people could fight against her. And if they put in Ares, she would probably fly in the air and heal whoever summoned her. Especially since there's It seems like we haven't seen Isabel yet, and Isabel's an assist trophy that just throws out healing items. So maybe Ares will just like fly in the air and heal you. And if you're playing team, then she'll heal your whole team. Kind of like that's because that's what she does in Final Fantasy VII. Her limit is she heals the team. So I think that's what she'll do. I think she'll fly up and do her like her level 1 limit or something. Um, if they wanted to get really crazy with it, they could make her give you a life back, but I think that'd be a little too OP. So then if they don't do that, I doubt it'll be anyone else. I highly doubt it'll be Vincent. I highly doubt it'll be Sid or Barrett or Yuffie or Kate Sith. Any of them could work, don't get me wrong, but I highly doubt it'll be any of them. And I think what it'll actually be will be one of the iconic enemies that's in every Final Fantasy game. I'm kind of going with Cactar. I'm kind of thinking it'll be either Cactar or a wild herd of chocobos. That's what I'm thinking. But so far, I'm leaning towards Cactar from Final Fantasy VII. Or, really, he's in all the Final Fantasies. But I think that's one of the iconic enemies that would make... it would be that stupid thing where it's like, we want Tifa, but we're not going to get Tifa. We're going to Cactar. I think that's what's going to happen. I have no joke, really think that's what's going to fucking happen with this character from Final Fantasy. So, if it's not that... I don't think it'll be a character from a game that's not 7. I think it'll definitely be from Final Fantasy 7, even though it'd be really cool if like Cecil just like came in with his dark armor and shot a huge beam of light or darkness or something, or sometimes he randomly turns light instead and heals your party. That would be cool. Or I would love it if Terra came down and just like transformed into an Esper and flew around in like with her pink body and like shot magic at you, and you'd have to like hit her away. I think that would be really cool too, but I just don't think that's what we're gonna get here. I think we're actually going to get like Cactar. I think there's too many ideas that it's gonna be Cactar. So that's my theory. Don't be super disappointed if you don't get Tifa. But if we get Tifa, let's all celebrate together. Let's all get really excited and celebrate together. But I don't know. I don't know, guys. It might not be Tifa. It might be Cactar. But even if it's Barrett, though, I'll be really excited. Though I will be like, Sakurai, did you play more than the first hour of Final Fantasy VII? Putting Barrett in the game. But I digress here. That's pretty much my only theories for Final Fantasy. I went... When I first thought about it, I thought so many possibilities with Tifa and Ares, and then, I just kind of brought myself down, realizing, like, it's probably going to be Cactar. With, like, the only other option maybe being Mog, or, like, a Moogle, but Mog is, like, the first one from 6. So, like, I don't know. I don't think it'll be a Moogle, but I think they might go for something that isn't a character, and might go for something that just... is a part of Final Fantasy history, and there's certain staples that are just in every single Final Fantasy, and so I think that that's what we're going to get. And then, of course, lastly we have Bayonetta, and we already know that Rodin is her new assist trophy, and you know what? That's the perfect choice. There literally is not a better choice than Rodin. So that was the right choice. They made the right choice. There was a hint in Bayonetta 2 for the Switch version where Rodin mentions he wants to show up in Smash Bros. Someday, and he got his wish. So, now I don't know if they put that in just to be cute. I don't know if they put that in because Sakurai already told them Rodin would be in the game. And I don't know if they put that in because when Sakurai played that in Bayonetta 2 on Switch, he was like, oh, I'm going to put Rodin in the game now. I don't know if it had anything to do with anything, but they made the right choice. Now, lastly, I want to talk about third-party characters that have not been announced yet, but characters that I think a lot of us agree upon that could potentially be in the game. Of course, if they add in a new character that people have been long requesting, like Ridley, for example, which we already know is added in, there's probably not going to be a specific assist trophy for Ridley, nor is there probably going to be a specific assist trophy for Ice Climbers or characters like that, because Nintendo assist trophies, a lot of them are just characters from other Nintendo games that aren't even in Smash. Like, after all, Little Mac was an assist trophy in Smash Bros. Brawl before he became a full-fledged character in this game, in Smash 4. Which is, if Shadow becomes a full-fledged character, then that will continue the trend of assist trophies becoming full-on characters. Then, maybe there's hope for Bomberman in the sequel to Ultimate. But I really think... Oh, and same with Crystal, But I don't want her, but some people do. Anyway, I think that if they do put in a character from... I think that if they put Geno in the game, for example, which Geno might have a chance of being in the game, I think if they did something like that, there probably wouldn't be another assist trophy from Mario RPG, because it doesn't matter at that point. I think that also I think Geno actually has a chance of being an assist trophy more than being his own fucking character. But either way, there's no like meaning behind that. So I'm not naming just potential characters. Like, yes, there's a new assist trophy for Splatoon, but come on, how do you not include Callie and Marie in Smash Bros? Like, Splatoon was so popular, like, you got to include them. So I'm thinking more along the lines of third parties of ideas that I'm trying to come up with here. So, because so far they've been doing that like every game. And we also know that Rodon is coming, so the DLC characters might not all get assist trophies, but at least Bayonetta is. So now let's talk about the most likely third-party character. I think everyone agrees that the most likely one would be Simon Belmont. Not just because every game company that's third party needs two characters. There's no symmetrical rules that Sakurai believes in. After all, he didn't have any idea that he was going to add in a second Capcom character or a second Sega character. Like, Bayonetta had nothing. Like, Bayonetta was just added in like after the fan ballot, And I from what I understand, she didn't exactly win the most votes, but she was popular. And Sakurai was like, well, I like this idea. so that's why she got put in. I also think the fan ballot might be why Knuckles is an assist trophy now, because people kept seeing that name. Crystal might also be something like that along those lines too. Same with Bomberman. Though that let Sakurai know like what characters that people want. So he might have used some of those ideas to make them assist trophies, which also might just be why Knuckles is in and not Shadow. But either way, like, that's my top theory if Shadow's not an Echo Fighter. But either way, the most likely one will probably be Simon Belmont. And like I said, it's not because Snake's in the game they need two Konami reps. They don't. That's not how it works. But if we're talking about classic video games, man, you got Mario, you got Sonic, you got Mega Man, and I would say the fourth most like important classic video game would be Castlevania. So I think Castlevania's just been too important to all of video games as a whole to not include him now. And if they put in a character from Castlevania, most likely Simon Belmont, I know a lot of people would probably want Alucard to be the assist trophy, or possibly just another character, a main character from the Castlevania series. But I think the best possible option would be the Grim Reaper character. I think the Grim Reaper he's like an iconic sub-boss. He's not the main boss, he's not Dracula. Though I would say if you're not doing the Grim Reaper character, I would say Dracula. Yeah. Especially if we're talking about like his like bat form thing that shoots fireballs and stuff. So I think that would be fucking cool. But I really think that the Grim Reaper would just be perfect. Would be really fucking cool. People who don't play Castlevania wouldn't be that confused. They'd be like, oh yeah, cool. Like, they would get it. They would get what's going on. So I think that's by far the most perfect choice. And I really hope I get this right. But the thing is, I can't get this right until they announce Simon Belmont in the first place. Which, God, please, because then they can make a Castlevania stage with Castlevania music. Like, fucking please do this. But we have to see. when if they even announce him, if he's even in the game, and man, I hope he is, and then we'll see. So if they do that, then mark my words, I'm going to be saying Grim Reaper as the assist. They'll probably show the assist in his character trailer if they announce him. Just like they'll probably show his stage off, because they have to show a lot of content when they announce a new character. So, especially with third-party characters. So please, please, please. That's what I'm hoping for. Besides, yeah, so that's really that's really, yeah. I'm putting all my chips on Grim Reaper. I think that's what you guys will be getting if he's in the game. Then, after that, another likely choice. This is where things kind of get hard, but again, I'm going to say a character from a company that's already in the game, but it's not from the same game. I'm going to bring up Namco, and it's not because Namco needs 2 reps. You know, they didn't need it in the first one, or they didn't need it in Smash 4. They don't need it now. So I think the next most likely character of all characters is Heihachi. The possibility of Heihachi being talked about in that rumor of the leak that supposedly happened, that I don't necessarily believe is real. In fact, I actually, at this point, I don't think it's real at all. I won't believe it until we see a few characters come out that prove it. You know, but at this point, I don't think it's real at all. I think that Heihachi has the chance to be in the game. I think it makes sense. I think that he deserves it. I think that Tekken deserves representation. I think the possibility of having Heihachi and Ryu fight each other in the same game, even though they've done this multiple times, it's just a really good idea. Heihachi would also be perfect for 2 alternate costumes, which they seem to like doing with third-party characters. At least they like doing it with Cloud and Bayonetta. So it seemed like when they made Cloud and Bayonetta, they actually already had the plan to make Ultimate at that point. Sakurai was already planning it, and if you notice, like a lot of those characters are already kind of made for Smash Ultimate. They just like how Mario and Link have alternate costumes now. It's like alternate costumes are going to become more of a thing. It looks like Ridley has an alternate costume, so it looks like we're going to be seeing more alternate costumes and more like colors that change character models up a little bit, or at least changes what they wear. So. Like, because Ness's shirts aren't just color schemes, you know. Ness's and Lucas's shirts actually change design too. So there's stuff like that we'll have to see. But when it comes to Heihachi, I just think he is. When you think Tekken, I wish you could say you think Jin. I wish you could say you think Kazuya, but you don't. Now, maybe if Tekken 1 was the only Tekken, you would say Kazuya. But really, since Tekken 2, the main characters changed every Tekken. This is what separates Tekken from Street Fighter, where Street Fighter, Ryu's the main character. He's the only playable character. And Street Fighter 2, the focus is still very much on him. And Street Fighter Alpha, the focus is still very much on him. Street Fighter kind of always includes Ryu for a reason. Tekken... Tekken 7 Heihachi was defeated, but you can't... I don't think that necessarily means Heihachi's dead for good. I think Heihachi might come back in the next Tekken. But also, Heihachi, there's a reason why he pops up in PlayStation All-Stars, man. There's a reason why he pops up in other games. Okay, because Heihachi is just a popular character, but he even pops up in, like, this weird Pac-Man... fucking party game. It's like a Namco party game, has different Namco characters, and Heihachi pops up in that. But also, remember Heihachi popped up in Soul Calibur 2 on the PlayStation 2 version, because Tekken at that time was PlayStation 2 or PlayStation exclusive. It was always on PS1 and PS2. So Heihachi was in the PS2 version of Soul Calibur, even though, you know, he's completely third party, he's owned by Namco. They made him PS2 exclusive, which is a really cool idea. So Heihachi is, you know, he's important, and he would have 2 costumes be perfect. But I don't want to make this video about pitching third-party characters, and I feel like I'm going way too far on that. But the excitement for Heihachi is there for me. So I'm just going to straight up say, like, let's just pretend, let's just talk about Heihachi being in the game now. Let's just assume he's going to be in it no matter what, just for right now. We'll go back to debating if he'll be in it later. If they do put Heihachi in the game, what would his assist trophy be? To me, I know a lot of people would be thinking Kazuya, but I actually think that Kazuya and Jin, if it would be Devil Jin, maybe. If it'd be just regular Kazuya, I don't know why. I feel like at this point there's so many characters who are just fighters and brawlers. Like Knuckle Joe is already in, and Knuckles are already assist trophies that we don't need anymore. So like, we don't need that many people who are brawlers. But Kazuya, at least if Kazuya and Jin were in their devil forms, maybe that would work. But I kind of think it might go in a different direction, like Kuma from Tekken, which is Hayachi's pet bear, which is actually Hayachi's partner in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which is funny. But Tekken has that softer, funnier side to it. So Kuma would not be a bad representation from Tekken. He could fight with his. He has his own signature like chopping motions for when he fights. His punches are all just these chops, but also he has like a rolling move that could also work in this game. However, there is the other choice of putting in someone like Nina Williams. Nina Williams has had her own third-party game, and while she's definitely not the main character of Tekken, she's been in since Tekken 1, and she's definitely an iconic and important character that's going to be in every Tekken game forever. So, I think Nina Williams would also be a fun choice. And I think, like, not that I think Nina is like Street Fighter's Chun-Li. I think she's really her own character, but I think she's just a really interesting Tekken character who's always been popular in the Tekken franchise. For some reason, Nina Williams is Heihachi's like secretary, bodyguard thing, vice president, whatever, in Tekken 7. That's really weird to me. But that's because she was Jin's secretary, bodyguard person. So a lot of it makes really no sense. I actually don't understand why Nina is like that in Tekken 6 and Tekken 7, but whatever. I just think that she's an important character who's always been cool. But while Devil Jin I think Devil Jin might be the most likely choice because he could fly and shoot lasers. But I think that there's a small chance for Kuma and Nina, but I think Devil Jin is probably the most likely choice. I think Jin will appear in some capacity if Heihachi appears, unless Heihachi doesn't come out until he's a DLC character, which I kind of think might happen more than him just being in Smash. I think that Heihachi might just be a DLC character. So he might not even get an assist trophy. Now, after that, when it comes to third-party characters, there's so many in Smash already that it's really hard for me to come up with some that make perfect sense. Because Final Fantasy doesn't need any more representation. Lots of those other games don't need any more representation. Like, what would be the point? You could put in Leon from Resident Evil, but what would be the point? I think Street Fighter, like Ryu being a DLC character, having two Capcom characters, made so much sense because he was DLC. I think it would have been kind of weird if he was in Smash Bros. 4 from the start. But I think because he was DLC, he was perfect. Cloud, on the other hand, I feel like should have been in from the start. I'm not sure if they were saving him for a reason or not, but it might be just because Square Enix negotiated it after the game came out. But either way, he's going to be in it from the start this time around, and that's the thing. It's like, who needs representation? So at this point, it does become harder to think of third-party games. And so this is where people throw out ideas like weird and obscure classic game characters like Bomberman, for example. Not that he's weird, but, just like more classic characters, and sometimes characters people don't always know. But I personally think that the next bet would be something from the indie game world. And if they do any indie game character, to me, it's got to be Shovel Knight. And I know some people will argue this, but the thing about indie games is that they're popular for like 5 years, and then they kind of die down a bit. And Shovel Knight, if he doesn't get a sequel, then Shovel Knight has already had so many expansions that it's probably not going to be, a household name forever. And Shovel Knight's probably gonna. It's on that verge of where he's not the top and most popular indie game character anymore. You know, his time in the spotlight is starting to fade away. So, in fact, I think Cuphead is probably taking over. um, but either way, um, if they do make a Shovel Knight 2, then I think for sure Shovel Knight should be in Smash. But what I'm thinking is that they might not put Shovel Knight in because when I think about the fact that they can never turn back, they can never undo, it's like, oh, maybe they won't put Shovel Knight in because they'll have to put Shovel Knight in every Smash game from now on. Notice I didn't talk about Rayman. Rayman had trophies in Smash 4. I think that he might be able to be in as a trophy, but I actually think Rayman will probably be an assist trophy because I just don't think he has a moveset that's good for Smash. So I think I think a Rayman might just be an assist trophy like how Bomberman's an assist trophy. So hey, that's another third-party assist trophy, Rayman. I think that's his best bet getting in the game at all. Shovel Knight might be the same way. He might have to just be an assist trophy. He might not be his own character, even though I think he could definitely be his own character and be a really interesting character. And he already has the color palettes. He already has all the items. He has everything. He has a bounce mechanic. He is already like really well done made. He's so good to be in this game, but I just don't think it just might not happen. And just because the idea that he would have to appear in sequels possibly down the road. Now, next Smash game, they might cut characters again. They might not do every single character from now on. They might cut some. But the next Smash game won't be out for probably a while. I'm thinking 5 years at the least. You know, we got a while. And I don't even think it'll be 5 years. I think it'll be more like how Brawl was, where, you know, and Melee came out and it was just the only Smash for a long time. And then Brawl was just like the only one for a long time before Smash 4. So that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be like 5 to 7 years into the next Smash game. So Shovel Knight might make sense, but it would be best if Shovel Knight started getting more games and the indie studio became bigger, like Way Forward became a little bit bigger, so that way, or wait, was it Way Forward? I think there was someone else. Either way, they have to get like bigger, so that way. It was Yacht Club. Yacht Club might have to get bigger so they can produce bigger scale games. I really hope they make a Shovel Knight sequel because Shovel Knight's such a damn good game, but we'll have to see what they do. If they do make a sequel, I think it's a no-brainer to be in the game. But anyway, like I said, let's just assume he'll be in the game, even though I personally don't even believe it anymore. But if he is in the game, his amiibo would work, which would be cool. But if he is in the game, then let's say his assist trophy probably won't be Shield Knight, because Shield Knight doesn't really fight much in the game. I think what makes more sense, plus Shield Knight is kind of just like a tribute to Proto Man, which is kind of weird, but I think what it'll actually be will be a character like Plague Knight, or maybe one of the other knights that are bosses, because maybe one of the playable DLC ones, but also just maybe one of the ones you fight, sort of like how the Mega Man one is. And the reason why I say that is because Shield, it's really more, not so much based off them, and really not so much based off Mega Man, it's more so based off of the fact that Shield Knight doesn't really have much moves. And there's not that many other characters to choose from. However, if Shovel Knight is in the game, he might also be just DLC. So we'll have to see. And because if they put Shovel Knight in the game or Hayachi in the game, I feel like those characters don't even really need assist trophies. Whereas I think Simon Belmont needs a fucking assist trophy. So we'll see who's DLC and who's not DLC. It is exciting times. You know, in a few months we might see big, insane, mind-blowing announcements involving Smash. Smash has done it before. Smash has blown my mind more than once, baby. And it's probably going to happen anytime now. You know, I'll never forget when I saw Snake in Smash. I'll never forget when they announced Ryu. I'll never forget when they announced Cloud. Those were moments that I did not see coming and just really blew me the fuck away. So I think it could happen. So we'll have to see. Next, of course, I'm not talking about Shantae. I don't know why people want Shantae so bad. It's probably not going to happen, guys. Sorry if you like Shantae, but I don't. Shantae is way forward. Um, I think who makes more sense than Shantae, uh, well, it would be Shovel Knight, but a character that I think has zero chance of being in the game is anything involving Undertale, which won't have a trophy, which won't have anything. Um, Nintendo does not care about Undertale. Um, Japan does not care about Undertale. No one cares about Undertale. Undertale's a dead meme. I'm surprised people are still talking about it. So, almost no one talks about it now. And I feel like the only people who talk about Undertale are the people who are saying put Sans in Smash. It's really weird. Like, Undertale's over. Like, no one cares about that fad anymore. The second that that what's that, the literature club game came out, the Doki Doki Literature Club game. The second that game came out, no one cared about Undertale anymore. So, like, it's like how PUBG used to be. It's like how PUBG. Undertale's like PUBG. Like, the next game came out, and it's like the meme of the month is over. So but if they're going to put in a character, it would be the human. It would not be Sans. It would be the human. That's how it works. And I'm not gonna like get mad and rage at people like you idiots. They only ever do the character you play as. And when they do third parties, yeah, it'll probably be the human if they do it. But I'm not gonna rage because I know most people are just trolling and saying this because it's stupid. The problem is that there are people who actually want this, and when I say that, I know I just kind of said that kind of meanly. It's not that you have bad ideas. It's not that you are stupid. It's not that you shouldn't want those characters in Undertale or in Smash. Like, wanting Undertale and Smash is a perfectly reasonable stance. But to try to claim that it'll actually happen, that's when I'm like, no, no, it won't. Undertale's not as big as the fandom thinks it is. It just has a fandom behind it. And it's kind of dying down because Undertale's not popular anymore. So now it's time. And plus, Earthbound is better than Undertale, and Earthbound is the original game that Undertale basically takes all of its inspiration from. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it's like, why would you? It's stupid. Nintendo doesn't even like Earthbound. Nintendo doesn't even like Mother. So, but if they did do Undertale, Sans or Papyrus would probably be the Sis Trophy. In fact, it would most likely be Papyrus. I could possibly see it being the little mother that I forgot her name. I don't care about the game, that's why. And but it would probably be like Papyrus. Even though I know why Sans is so important. I've seen everything involving Sans. I know why people want Sans. But it probably is not going to happen. So, well, actually, I mean, I don't know. I would love it if Sans was the assist trophy, but you have to remember Sakurai is not a part of the Undertale fandom. Sakurai is not American. Sakurai is not a nerd on the computer all the time. So that's why a lot of people are always like, how come Girahim wasn't a playable character in Smash 4? It's like, because no one cares about Skyward Sword. No one cares about fucking Skyward Sword. Not Sakurai. You know, Sakurai's going to add characters and third parties that he cares about. He's not going to put it on Undertale if he doesn't care about it. He doesn't care if it's popular, you know. People think that they might add in characters from Fortnite and characters from Dark Souls, and I'm like, no, I don't know, maybe, but I grew up playing Sakurai's games, and I don't know if, you know, it's like, I really like his games, Kirby and Kid Icarus Uprising. I love those games, so I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, I just don't know if he'd want to put in characters from games like those. I don't think he has ever talked about them, but like, and people are like, oh, but games have more likelihood of being in, or characters have more likelihood of being in Smash because their games are on the Switch now. It's like, no, not really. It's, you know, Snake's not on the Switch. You know, Snake is not on the Wii. He's not on the Wii U. He's not on the Switch. You know, there hasn't been a Metal Gear game on fucking Nintendo. Well, there was on 3DS. They remade Metal Gear Solid 3 on 3DS. But that's about it. You know, you can't play any of the classic ones on Switch. You can't play any of the classic ones on Wii U. You can't play a lot of those games. You know? And that's because they're, like, really hard to port over because they're so made with the intention of being on one console. And in most of those cases, PlayStation. So no, it's just, it doesn't work. So Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes is a remake of the first one that had to be completely redone from the ground up to work on a Nintendo console and not just be PlayStation exclusive. And it was a really good game, don't get me wrong. In fact, I think it's so good that it's worth playing Metal Gear Solid 1 and Twin Snakes. I think they're both worth playing. And I would not normally say that about remakes, but it's such a different experience that they both warrant game playthroughs for different reasons. So I want I want Twin Snakes to be brought onto the Switch. I want it on the Wii U. So I don't know, man, but either way, I don't. I does just because Undertale and Crash Bandicoot and Dark Souls is on Switch now, it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean any character is more likely to be in Smash. That's nothing to do with anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure the only reason why that mattered for Bayonetta was because she was so highly requested by the fans. Now, I do think that any character has a chance. I think that Bayonetta and Bowser Jr. opens the floodgates for basically anyone. So anyone could work. I know some people really want Chibi Robo. I just don't see why. But I don't want to get too much on shitting on people's ideas for potential characters. But if they did put an Undertale character, it'd probably be someone like Sans, or it'd probably be someone like Papyrus, or the mother. I think her name's Toriel. Toriel, does that sound right to you guys? But it probably Sans after that. But I don't know if Sakurai beat Undertale and then beat it again on the peaceful route, and then beat it again on the genocide route, and then fought Sans. Like, I don't think he did that. So I don't think he did that, honestly. Yeah. I took some time to think about if there was any more third parties, and I really couldn't think of anything other than Goku and Shrek. And if they put Goku and Shrek in the game, then I want Donkey and I want Vegeta, okay? I want Donkey and I want Vegeta as assist trophies.